Welcome back to Gary's in the Shed. Now, in a previous episode, when we were exploring the details of my tool wall at the workbench there, I promised that I would reveal what is my favorite or most important tool from that collection. Now, I've thought about it quite a lot, and in the end, I've come up with this. It's a pencil. Now, nothing could be more simple and more cost-effective than a pencil. And I have to confess that these little things have been an obsession of mine all my life. And I've spent a lot of time with them, and I've spent a lot of money on them over the years. As you'll discover, I've been collecting pencils for a very long time. Here on the bench is just a small section of that collection, ranging from the cheapest to the most expensive. Now, for example, this box of pencils and graphite and charcoal from Caran, an excellent company, can cost you about $300, whereas the pencil that I use every day cost less than 50 cents. I order them in boxes of 50, and you'd be amazed how quickly they just magically disappear. It's almost like that single sock you can never find. These things just somehow vanish. But they are precious, and I've always got plenty of them to hand, and it's certainly been an obsession.
I think pencils are an important part of life, really, because in many respects they are our first encounter with art. As children, all the way back to babies. Don't you love it when the kids scribble all over the walls? I'm reminded of the words of the great Pablo Picasso, who said he spent the early years of his life trying to paint like an adult, and then spent the rest of his life trying to make art like a child. The other day, one of the world leaders in pencils, Faber-Castell, kindly sent us a video explaining their process of making their famous pencils. Based in Stein, Germany, Faber-Castell has been manufacturing for 265 years. And every year, they produce over 2 billion pencils in 120 colours. Now, not only do I love pencils, but I'm also fascinated by manufacturing process. So let's watch the whole video. Thank you, Faber-Castell. That was great. Now, back in the shed.
One of the things that I always get a great kick out of is just something as simple as sharpening a pencil. It's really gratifying. You can do something so productive, so useful in such a simple way. And I actually have friends who collect antique pencil sharpeners. I love this one. Not only is a thing of great beauty, it always also works pretty well. When I travel with this little pencil case, and in it, very, very simple tools. And through that, I've been making, I guess there's 25 of these, 25 sketchbooks with hundreds, if not 1,000, individual drawings that I've done, typically on an aeroplane, just from magazines, newspapers, or whatever. And it's quite amusing sometimes on an aeroplane when cabin crew will come to me and ask me to do a pencil sketch from a tiny photograph of one of their children. But it's a great pleasure to do that.
When I'm attempting a big drawing, I like to use this wonderful old draftsman's table. I've spent many hours there. Here I'm working on one of my more successful pictures, a drawing of a young male lion. It's taken from a photograph by the talented photographer Dave Hammond, whose work I discovered in Botswana. This was a good learning process for me, understanding how to layer in the detail of individual hairs and whiskers, getting the right texture, and importantly, getting the eyes just right. An artist friend has correctly identified that I have a fear of black, and I think that's true in this work. Another wildlife picture is this, a young male tiger. A similar process, but I think this time benefiting from a bit more emphasis in the dark spaces. A smaller work, but a favourite of Angelica's, is this sketch of our 3 dogs, bounding through the water at our local beach. Meanwhile, the pencil sketches are also important in the preparation of painting. And not just for planning purposes, it's always interesting to see the differences between the initial sketch and the finished work. Sometimes the pencil work is better. And finally, this strange thing. It dates back to my working days, a collection of doodles cut from many of my notebooks, the result of countless boring meetings. Look at this thing. Is there a therapist in the house?
In the end, although I do love working with paint, particularly oil paint, I have to confess, I am at my most relaxed and most productive, most creative when I'm working with just black and white on a simple piece of paper. So here's to the humble pencil. And thanks for coming back to Gary's in the Shed.
If you'd like to help me at Gary's in the Shed, please click the like and subscribe buttons below. Now, I'll never ask for money, but some free feedback would be good. So while you're down there, please leave a comment.